I lunged forward. When I tell you I leapt, when I tell you that I became like a jaguar, a tiger, and I leapt forward. Hey guys, welcome to another lab session. Today is just a quick chit chat video. I have been very chill, I have been very low-key, and I just remembered something that happened to me a couple years back, and I decided to share this story with you guys. It's funny now. It's something I can look back and laugh at, or just be grateful that I've been here to tell the story. But it was a pretty scary experience. So it's the time I almost got kidnapped. Yes, me. It's something that is crazy because there are a lot of people out there who have been kidnapped victims, who have been kidnapped and were never found, or were found and are traumatized and probably are still dealing with what they went through. But then I am so lucky, I am so happy that I was not a statistic. I was not part of the people who have gone through this and not been able to tell their story. But then I also don't want it to be a boo-hoo, look at me. And I did escape, so I guess that is something that I should be grateful for. Yes, that is something I should be grateful for. But anyway, so it happened. I'm trying to remember the exact year. I think it was 2015 or 2016. So basically, I was in Calabar where I was schooling. I was in uni then, and I think I was in my second. No, I think I was in my first year. Wait, if I was in my first year, then that's actually 2014. Yeah, that was 2014. Yeah, in November. So it was my aunt's wedding, and I was supposed to be her chief bridesmaid. So we were basically doing all the wedding shopping and everything that she needed to do. We're basically doing it together. And we went out one day. We're supposed to go to her would-be in-laws. We're supposed to go there and pick up something. So there was no car, like we didn't have a car, and we had taken a taxi there, but then coming back we had problems getting a taxi and stuff, so we just said to enter a bus because we're going to enter a couple buses, but it wasn't so far because Calabar is like small, it's not that big, so it's not like you're going long distances or anything. So basically it was night when we're coming back, like the whole day was successful and everything, and then the night we're coming back and we tried to stop so many buses, but it was so hard. Like basically getting transportation back was super hard. But then eventually we got a bus, and then the bus had just 2 seats left, one at the back row, like the last row, and then another one in there's like 3 rows, and then the driver and passenger. So the first row, the first passenger row had another spare seat, and then that was the seat like directly by the door. So she's like, oh, she doesn't want to get in the back and everything, and I'm like so tired at this point. I'm just fed up with the whole thing. Like I just want to go home and sleep and just rest. I was so tired. So I'm like, okay, you know what, I'll get into the back and then you sit in this front seat. But then she wanted us to sit together, like that was her major issue. But then I was like, you know what, I'm just going to get in the back and like you get there and let's just leave. So I hop in and I get into the back seat, and then the next thing they close the door and zoom off, and my aunt is still on the road, like they left her standing out there. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, how can you're driving off with me and my auntie is like not here? Like, stop, I need to get out. But then the crazy thing is, everybody, like the bus was actually, like I said, it was just 2 seats, so there were actually people in the bus, both men and women. And like everyone is so calm and quiet, like they're not even reacting. Like they're not even looking at me. Like nobody's even acting like there's something going on here. Nobody's acting like there's something off here. Everybody's just so calm, and they're all just sitting and like facing forward, like just calm. And I'm like, excuse you. And then the conductor, who is basically the person who loads people into the bus and collects money and stuff, is just standing there laughing. I'm like, what the hell? Like what have I gotten into? And I was so scared. I'm never going to lie to you guys, that is like the scariest thing that has ever happened to me in my life. I was super scared because like all these stories and everything that could, like all these scenarios, like my mind, my imagination is a really crazy place. So it started playing like all the worst case scenarios for me. And I'm like, no, I'm not just going to sit down here in fear and allow these people to do whatever. I don't know what they want to do. I don't know what their plan is. I don't know if it was a prank. I don't know if it was a joke. I don't know if they were ritual killers or just I don't even want to know. But I was like, I'm not going to sit here and allow anything bad happen to me. I am going to get home. I'm going to sleep in my bed this night, and I don't care how it happens. So then I start screaming, and I'm screaming at the driver to let me go, let me down. I need to stop this bus. I need to get out. I need to see my auntie. And they're not even paying me any attention. So remember that I sat in the last row. So I still have 2 rows in front of me before the driver. I lunged forward. When I tell you I leapt, when I tell you that I became like a jaguar, a tiger, and I leapt forward across these 2 rows, and I got the driver. So basically I was lying across people. I'm telling you the honest truth. I was lying across people, and they were not even flinching. Like nobody was like, oh, sit down, or like what's going on. Like nobody was even paying any attention to me. It was like I was a lunatic and these people were on drugs or something. They were so chill. I can't even imagine, because like even if it was like if they were at least looking at me, acknowledging my presence, or like okay, somebody is screaming or shouting beside you and you're like, can you chill? That would have been like, okay, maybe I wasn't overreacting. These people were so chill. I laid across these 2 seats and I got the driver. And with every strength in me, I'm a pretty skinny person, as you can see. I'm like just long and lanky. But I conjured up energy from my ancestors and I put it inside my body. I beat this driver with every strength in me. I was just stomping everywhere. His head, his neck, his shoulder, his back. Anywhere my hands could reach, I was beating this guy. And I'm beating him and I'm shouting, let me go. And then he says in Efik, which is like one of the languages spoken in Calabar, he says in Efik that he's going to beat me. Did he say he was going to beat me or he was going to kill me? I can't remember. I think he said he was going to beat me. And I'm like, beat me for what? What did I do to you? I didn't do anything to you. You have carried me, you have kidnapped me, and you have left my auntie on the road. And there is no way I am not letting you go. You're going to let me out of this bus. Otherwise, you're going to see something. And the guy just keeps driving, and I'm beating him, and I'm beating him, and eventually he just stops, like smack in the middle of the road. He just stops and then tells the conductor, he says it in Efik, like, just let this thing out. I'm like, and then the conductor opens the door. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I was out. And as soon as like I put one leg out, before my second leg could even touch the floor, these people zoomed off. It tore my dress, because I was wearing a gown. It tore my dress, but I didn't even care, and they just zoomed off, like no stopping. And I was like, oh my god, I was on the road. I didn't know where I was, because I'm not even so familiar with the area of town that we went to. And then this guy has even carried me further away from where I was. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know where I am. It was dark. It was like pitch black night. Like it was kind of like 9 or something. So it was really late, and like everywhere was dark. So I didn't even know where I was. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know anything, but I just knew I was safe. I was at least I was out of that bus, and I was like, no matter what happens, at least I'm familiar with the language. So even if I meet someone who can't speak English, I can always speak the language and like try to, I know where I'm going, I know where I need to be. So even if I have to get home and then, you know, find my auntie later or something. But anyway, I was like, I just stood there and I started crying. Tears just started coming out. It was like all the adrenaline that was inside of me just came out. I was crying. I was like, I was scared, but then I was relieved. I was worried. I was happy. I was like a whole bunch of emotions going through my entire body. And then I just kept crying, and like I was like, okay, at least I know, you know, the direction. Like I just wanted to head in the opposite direction of where the bus was coming from. So I just kept going back. Like maybe if I just keep walking straight down, I would like find my auntie or something. I don't know. So I just kept on walking and walking and walking, and I was just crying, and like nobody even noticed. Like obviously I wasn't like weeping, like oh no, I was just, it was like silent tears, like the tears were just coming down. I was just walking, but then eventually, thank the Lord Jesus, I saw my auntie, and she like ran up to me. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. And I just hugged her. We just stood there hugging, and I was just like crying. And I was like, I don't know, why didn't you get in the bus? Like you just left me. They carried me. Nobody was answering me. Nobody was helping me. I was just crying. And she's like, she's sorry. She doesn't know that her spirit just didn't agree with the bus. And like, you didn't say anything. Like you allowed me get into the bus. And like they drove off. If you had like told me something, or you had held me back or something, like maybe, you know, that wouldn't have happened to me. Anyway, she just apologized, and like we're just so grateful that we're fine. And so we had to get another bus to go home, but I mean this time it was fine. And like eventually we got home and we were fine. But then she was like, I shouldn't tell anybody what happened. I did tell people, but like I didn't tell like the larger family, because I lived with my grandparents. I didn't tell my grandma because I didn't really want her to worry. I'm like, the bottom line is I was fine. I mean, what was going to happen? They couldn't have found the bus or anything. But you know, I just think about those people who were in there, and I'm like, were they accomplices, or were they victims, or something wrong with them? What happened to them? Did they ever get to, you know, their destination? Like, I don't know. I just hope like every single person that was in that bus was fine. I just like to tell myself that it was a really expensive joke, but like obviously it wasn't a joke, because who jokes like that, right? So I'm just really grateful, because I know that, I mean, I might think that maybe it was my stubbornness or how I was able to like fight and everything. I might like to tell myself that that's what got me out of that situation, but man, it wasn't at all, because my blows were probably not even that intense. They probably didn't even like touch the man, because it's like this was a pretty hefty guy. But then like I'm just grateful to God, because I know that he got me out of that situation, like for whatever reason that I had to even go through that in the first place. I'm just happy that I got out, and I just feel, because like that was like a little glimpse, like it's not, it can't even be compared, but it was a little glimpse to what millions and millions of people have gone through, people who have been kidnapped, people who have been taken away from their homes or their families, and we don't know what happens to them. And like I'm so grateful that my family didn't have to put up missing flyers or something. Like I didn't become a victim. I mean, in those few moments, yeah, I was like in the scariest situation of my life, but like right now, I mean, it's not even something that I think about every day. But then there are obviously families out there who have had to like every day remember a family member or a friend, a loved one who has gone missing just like that. Because like I'm just imagining if, you know, I was actually taken and I never got to see my family again, like how would my auntie be able to like tell people what happened? What would my parents were like miles away from me. My dad was in Abuja, my mom was in Lagos, so like what would they have said? My sister, my younger sister, how would she have, you know, dealt with that? How would I have dealt with it if I was like, if the situation had gotten worse, if I had found myself in like a worse environment? And just Woo. But yeah, that was the story of how I almost got kidnapped, but thank Jesus I escaped, and I'm fine, and I'm here to tell you guys this story. And just wow. Like, I would love to know if any such craziness has happened to you before, or if you have heard a similar story or something. Like, share with me. But anyway, this is the end of my story time video, and yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Until then, please stay safe, love yourself, love everyone around you. Chocolate milk or in between. Bye guys.